Hello, Namaste, Sasakal, good evening. Welcome to the S.S. Chandhok talk show. I'm your host and moderator, S.S. Chandhok. Today, we have gathered here again to discuss about a very important topic that is called importance of language learning. We have very special guests from Pan India who are so knowledgeable and they have spread their knowledge throughout the country. And again, on our request, they have come over here to spread their knowledge, to share the knowledge with us. Without taking any time, I'll introduce you the very first eminent guest. We have Ritu Chitranshi ma'am. She is the director and principal of Nurture International Schools, Kanpur. Ma'am has been in the field of education for past 25 years. She holds a postgraduate degree in English and a gold medal in B.Ed. She is the chief academic advisor to ABPDSPS Secretary, Kanpur Chapter IAPE, has launched two successful schools in the city in the year 2000 and 2011 respectively, known for their innovative and progressive education. Passionate educationist with experience in ECCE as a trainer, a storyteller, and a functional phonetics expert, she believes in integrating latest pedagogies to the teaching learning process. Ma'am is associated with so many associations on the national and international level, and she has received so many awards on international and national level that I think in 2 or 3 rooms she has kept the awards. She is very down to earth because she is basically from my city. I'm very proud that ma'am is from my city, and I had been observing her from last so many years, her style of working and way of working. And she is so down to earth, and she's so friendly with the teachers. So see, you feel very relaxed when you work with her. The way of working, the way of dealing with the parents, the way of dealing with the teachers or the parents or the students is so different. She has made the name of the school as one of the best school in Kanpur. We welcome you, Ritu ma'am, and thank you so much for coming over here. We will like to know from you that how did it came into your mind to start up these schools?
I'm sorry, sir. I missed the last part, sir.
Ma'am, how did it came into your mind to start up these schools, and how did you came into the education sector?
Right, sir. So thank you so much, Chandok, sir, for giving such a beautiful brief about me. Uh, and good evening to all the fellow panelists who are here with us today. It's been, yes, 25 years, actually more than 25 years since I started this journey. And the wondrous part is that I never wanted to be a teacher. I never wanted to be, entering the field of education. But yes, destiny, as it would have, I entered this field. But I entered as an ECC trainer, that's Early Childhood Care and Education trainer. Got trained by NCRT 25 years back and pioneered ECCE in the entire state of Uttar Pradesh. So that was the initiating point for me to enter this field. And yes, as soon as I entered, I realized, we were lagging far behind in terms of education and especially as far as the schools were concerned. We were nowhere near providing ECCE to our young toddlers or the young schoolgoers. So this, of course, with the support of my family, we entered we wanted to start a school, a center wherein we could implement whatever we were training our teachers for. So this led to the first school that was in 2000, year 2000. And since then, we launched our second school in 2011. And we were lucky to meet Dr. Sunita Gandhi ma'am in 2010, who gave a boost to whatever visions or whatever thoughts and ideas I had in mind. So marched ahead with all the knowledge, with all the latest pedagogies, whatever the world had to offer, and tried to create a different kind of a school, a happy school wherein the children compete with themselves.
That's great, ma'am. And ma'am, one question was in my mind from many years. After I think you opened the first ICSE school, then you had opened the CBSE.
Yes, sir.
So how did it came into your mind that now I should go up with another board also? I want to be a versatile. I want to have the knowledge of both the boards or whatever. what was in your mind when you opened a CBSE school after opening ICSE? Because people feel that if we have a experience of ICSE, now we should go for ICSE.
Okay, so I have had the experience of both boards. I passed out, from a CBSE affiliated school, and my initial education was with ICSE. So I've had best of both worlds, and wherein I realized that as far as the topic is like for today is language learning, I have realized this one thing, that however progressive CBSE board might be, but we are lacking somewhere, as far as the proficiency in, especially in English language is concerned. And that is there in ICSE, though it is not implemented in the right manner. There are a lot of changes we need to make at the primary level, at the pre-primary level, but still, the curriculum they have, the kind of exposure the children of ICSE board schools have, CBSE doesn't have. So, but CBSE again is a very progressive board, and for the competitive examinations, children and the teachers both look up to CBSE board. So again, an amalgamation, and let's see how things work out.
No, no, ma'am, you're doing a wonderful, commendable job. And I had been seeing that both the schools, they are doing so well in the city. And
Thank you
you're
so much.
competing with so many schools over here in here, CBSE also, as well as the ICSE school. And they are one of the best schools in Kanpur, for sure. All the best to you, ma'am, and thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much, sir.
Next, we had Dr. Savita Arora, ma'am. She is the principal of Bharati Public School, New Delhi. Ma'am is a great visionary and patient listener, a lady of principles and substance. She has been facilitated with the National Teachers Award by the Honorable President of India for her exemplary and tireless efforts. She is a dedicated educationist, with children being the prime focus of all her efforts in the work. During her students' days, she was an avid orator and prolific writer. She won many prizes in debates and dramatic, including at national level, with an enormous experience of around 3 decades in the field of education. She has been guiding the children towards a positive, progressive, and righteous life. She had penned down numerous articles and short poems on the issue related to children who are very close to their heart. She sincerely believes that real education lies beyond the books. For her, education is the name of our attitude, actions, language, and behavior with others. With a vision, she has embarked on a mission to instill the values and life skills in the future generation. She has authored a series of books, Dew Drops, a book of life skills for class 1 to 8, to inspire and guide the students to lead a purposeful life. With her rich experience, multi-phase personality, and qualities, she is sure to lead the school community with vision and dedication. And again, ma'am is associated with many associations, as well as she has received so many awards. We welcome you, ma'am, Savita, ma'am. Please let us know, how did you came into writing? You have written these series of books, Dew Drops. Please let us know how it came into your mind and what does these books contain.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chandhok sir, for briefing everyone about such an introduction you have given, that there's no point to discuss anything else because you have told everything. And a hearty welcome to all my fellow educationists. I must say we all are learners, because I feel that I am a learner. I don't know why do we call as an educationist, because education is the only field where change is always admirable. I mean, what kind of changes you want to see? You could see a sea change in education after Corona. Just see what has happened now. So this is what, as Ritu ma'am was just telling, that many negativities were found by people. Every now and then they were cranky and they were telling it as a pandemic. I feel that this is the time when everybody has come out of his self. I mean, one self has come out. Actually, reflection has happened and everybody has seen that we are awesome and we can do whatever we want to do. I think when we have a taste of these kinds of thought, you should pen down. So as you just asked that what make you to write, I would say that everybody who has these kinds of thoughts which are vibrant and change according to the time, they are not the old aged thoughts, but they are the base. The base has to be the old only, because old is gold. It is not a wrong thing. So when I came into education, I pledged myself that I think schools are open to prepare human beings, not to prepare the good academy. Maybe they are getting 90%, so that the school is good because people are getting good academics results and all other thing. I, being a multifaceted, multi-talented kind of, you can say, from the beginning, as a childhood. When I was a child, I was a sports captain. I was the captain of the house also, and the culture also. So that made me that the experiences which I had in my childhood should be shared by me, and everyone should feel that the right age is the schooling only, when you come up with those things. So writing was my passion from the beginning, but afterwards, again, I would not add that it was by default that I have come into education. Ritu was also telling this thing. It happens. I don't know, Ritu. I'm surprised that many good leaders are always saying this thing, that they were not planned that they'll go to the education, but by default they have come, and now they are the part and parcel of education. So this has happened with many people, as you have also enhanced your education in such a way, because you felt that you are a learner. Once you are a child, you are a learner, and then you start thinking about others, and your own experiences are making you a wonderful leader. In the same way, when I felt that education can be taken from books, from environment, and from anywhere you feel like, I wanted my children to get something to be done where they should read themselves first. Actually, they must know that who they are and how they can do wonders in their world. So this value oriented thought has taken me into the wealth of the moral education books, whatever we found in the market. And we found it was a great struggle. I must tell you that there were times when we were taught with Panchtantra ki kahaniyan and all such things, and then values were imbibed in us. So I proved that values cannot be taught. They can be only caught. If the leader, if the environment is value oriented, the child who is just like a butter, he can slip away with that, and he can take over that value in his mind. So I couldn't find any kind of book which is of my taste. So I said, let me pen down something. CBSE has also done a lot of changes in finding out and in churning out the values of human beings. And they were looking into that, okay, we will do scholastic systems were there, and co-scholastics were there, curricular, everything was happening from the CBSE side also. But it was in my mind from the beginning. So that made me to write a series of book for the values. And this dewdrop was it's my baby, and it's really, I feel that this book has been changes and touches many lives.
Fabulous,
Because
ma'am.
it is not exactly the kind of book where the stories are there and then comprehension kind English is going on. You have to write who was he and what was he and how was he doing all these things. It is actually what a child has to do every day. So
Great.
that's why I became this. And then I wrote a lot of books in English, and I am a lover of language. So even in Hindi also, I don't stand back. So this was the only way I tried that. Writing gives you much satisfaction because you touch a lot of lives with your thoughts.
Fantastic,
Otherwise,
ma'am.
you are only in your own school, and your own school is going to take your culture, take your sanskaras. But if you write down and pen down something, so it goes into families, and most of the things goes wherever it has to. I believe in sharing my ideas like water. So let's
That's
see
great,
what
ma'am.
tributaries, what rivers are going to make up. Some are Ganges and some are little ones, but they go.
No, ma'am, you are doing a wonderful job, and out of the way you are doing this because you're penning down your emotions. And
Yeah.
of course, your experience, with your experience, children will gain. Thank you so much, ma'am. Next,
Thank
we
you.
have a very eminent guest, a very pleasing personality, Dr. Pramod Srivastava. He is the principal of Model Academy Jammu, working as principal in Jammu as in Model Academy since April 2016. He has worked as principal with St. Mary's Inter College, Lucknow from May 2014 to 2016. Worked as a principal with Lucent International School, Dehradun from 2010 to 2014. Senior coordinator and head of department Computer Science, Masuri International School, Masuri, that is from 2007 to 10. Administrative leadership experience, Aptron, ACL, and Aptech Computer from July 1993 to 99. Then Wintech Computer, January 2000 to 2001 as an area manager. Head of Department Computer Science, Scholar Home Senior Secondary School, Dehradun from July 2001 to 2007. When I'm reading a profile, sir, I'm getting confused. Teacher, then the teacher, then in in the marketing, and then again teacher, then again coming back. I thought there is something problem, or I have fetched up something wrong. And I'm coming up to you. Then Wintech Computers 2000 to 2001. Then head of department Computer Science, again Scholar Home School, Dehradun. Head examiner by CBSE Board of Examination for more than 8 years. Master trainer by Intel Corporation and trained about 100 teachers. 2014 awarded certificate and trophy by Mrs. Kiran Bedi through 7th ED leadership. Then 2015 award again for missionary. Appointed as Center Superintendent for CBSE Secondary and Senior Secondary Examination March 2017 by CBSE RO Panchkula. Sir, how come Panchkula now? Appointed as Venue Director to conduct the capacity building program of CBSE COE Panchkula, Chandigarh for classroom management and career guidance. Appointed as observer by CBSE Secondary by CBSE Panchkula. And again, you have received so many awards. Then elected, sir, from Panchkula, then elected as President Jammu Saudia Schools Complex, Jammu for the year 1920 and 19 to 21. Appointed as District Training Coordinator by COE Chandigarh for Jammu region for the year 2021-22. Appointed as observer by Innovation Ambassador Program for School Teachers by CBSE. Sir, welcome, sir, but it's so confusing. Are you in Panchkula, or are you in Dehradun, are you in Masuri, or are you in Jammu? Are you everywhere? Do you have twins or triplicates or four?
Not omnipresent, not omnipresent, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is our school. Jammu earlier was in the Panchkula region, and now the region has been changed to Chandigarh. So that's why it's COE Chandigarh. Earlier it was RO Panchkula, but now it is in Chandigarh now.
Sir,
so I'm at base at Jammu right now only, and purely belongs to Dehradun now, you can say rather. And most of my time I have spent in Dehradun and Masuri. This is the first time I came here in Jammu, and since last 6-7 years I'm here in Jammu. Like others, like Ritu ma'am and Savita ma'am has said, they are not decided their career to be chosen as as a teaching career, but I have chosen this career with my choice only. My brother, my parents wanted to be an engineer only, but I wanted to be a teacher. So that was my spirit. I wanted to be a teacher and teach, and I am in now teaching now. Yes, Wintech and Uptech you are talking about, or Uptron ACL you're talking about. That is all, the educational institutions. Basically, what that was a time, the computer training institute was at the boom, and I was heading the centers there also. So my job was same, to head the center, to head the school, and still it is the same. Yeah, of course, different, cities I have traveled across, whether it is Lucknow or the Dehradun or Masuri or Jammu. So that is something different, because destiny takes you where she wants. Talking about, as you have, given us topic today, or see what makes the child, what a brain, how the brain needs to be developed, how the reading habits and the writing habits needs to be inculcated. So when I was in Lucknow, as ma'am has mentioned me, that Sunita Gandhi, I also met with her, with Sunita Gandhi, and we have worked together for the literacy drive also. and trained about thousands of the laborers and the people who was living in Juggi and Jhopadis just to at least read and write. Right, they can write their name. They can read something, some documents. They can read. They can read the newspaper. So around say, thousands of people, they are children, not me. Our children, they have made them understand the the essence of um, reading and writing skills. So they work with them day and night, and for that I have been awarded even also, but that was not the true award for me. For me, the award was what the thousands of people they have come across, and they at least they can read and they can write their signatures. Also earlier they were used to using their thumb to put their signatures, but after doing this activity, they were able to write their name. At least they were able to read where they are writing, where they are signing it at least. So that was my achievement of my children as achievement. And talking about the reading habits and the writing habits, and to make the children understand, because see what language plays a very, very vital role. I'm not a language teacher. I was purely a computer teacher. So it was a bit difficult for me because it is very easy for the language teacher to, make everybody understand what is the importance of the language. But I do realize, keeping in mind, what if child doesn't read, if child doesn't write, it is not going to the child's brain. And let me tell you, I've started this Lucent International School in Dehradun as a founder principal. And for just 2 months complete, when I started the school in April and May, I have not started with the coursework, with the junior classes 1 to 5. Only reading and writing practice I have given. The parents were behind me. क्या कर रहे हैं आप? आपने कोर्स नहीं शुरू किया है, then you will take the examination. Because why you are feeling like this? The children are here to be examined only. Rather than to examine the children, we have to make them understand what is the importance of reading and writing first. They should understand, what the correct pronunciation. They should understand that how they have to make the formation of the character. Because if the formation they are making right, it directly goes to their brain. Because always, hand is not writing, the brain is writing. So I worked, and let me tell you to all my, dear panelists, after, when July we have reopened, within 2 months, children, they are able to complete the 4-month syllabus without any hassle, because they were perfect in reading and writing skills. So that was, kind of achievement when you, make them something understand to the people, to the society. And so that was the kind of achievement we have.
Fabulous, fabulous. Because you have the experience of industry as well as, that industry as well as of schools also. So the mixed blend which you had, that your experience you have shared with the schools, they were panic in the starting, parents, but after they realized how the children have improved. Thank you so much, sir. And we are delighted that you have come on our show again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Next, we have Dr. Monica D'Souza, ma'am. She's the principal of Esaki Vidya Ashram, Tenkasi, Tamil Nadu. She has worked as resource person to train teachers in different schools. She has worked over the past 17 years in the field of education, 12 years in the famous Christian institution in Karnataka, and in various teaching and principal roles, and 4 years in Haryana as CBSE school principal. In all, school student strength of around 3,000. She had 8 years professional experience as school principal, contributed to the development and realization of the vision, mission, and objectives of the school, managed by all the activities of schools online during pandemic. She have taught mathematics, physics, and English to secondary and senior secondary students, was honored with the Best Science Project Guide Teacher by the State Government of Karnataka for the project of students presented at National Children Congress of 2011. Ma'am has a long, experience with the schools. She is PhD in physics, MEd, and also bachelor's degree in education with a specialization in teaching methodology of mathematics, physics, and school management from the prestigious MES B.Ed A grade college from Bangalore through merit seat. And she is also the secretary of was the secretary of college cabinet. She had completed her bachelor's degree in physics, chemistry, and mathematics in the prestigious 5-star A+ rating first South Indian Women's College, St. Angel's College, Mangalore, Karnataka, and holds a master degree in physics, as we said. And again, ma'am has received so many awards on national and international level. Ma'am, we are pleased you are over here, and from the a very extreme other part of the country, as sir is also from Jammu, and you also from the very extreme part. We welcome you, ma'am. Please let us know in brief about yourself as an educator. Again, the question today puts up is that by choice or by chance you were here as an educator.
Thank you very much, Chandok sir, for giving me this opportunity. I am very grateful to you for all the eminent, for uniting all these eminent educationists in this panel. And I also went through very briefly uh, your YouTube channel, and I saw that you are doing a noble job. On behalf of all of us, I thank you very much, and you are doing a very great job. So it's not easy, and I really felt good. Though I had no time for, I told you many times, I'm very busy. But still, I made it. When I saw your YouTube channel, I thought that you're making a lot of efforts to bring people together, people who are busy like me, all of us, and you are respecting us for what we are. And I'm very grateful to you, sir. On behalf of everyone, I want to thank you. Okay, Pan India principles.
Thank you,
So
ma'am.
yesterday was International Mother Language Day, sir. So all of us have grown in a multilingual society. I also grew up in the same way. I am born in a Konkani family. Konkani is my mother tongue. So Kannada was outside, and Tulu, another language, and Kodava, another language. So they're all, I mean, we grew up as a child. I grew up as a multilingual person. And my father was a forest officer, so we had to go from place to place in Karnataka. So when we mix with other people, other culture people, other language people, uh, I found as a child it was very easy for me to learn languages. So I know more than 5 languages. Uh, so it was easy for me. Even when I went to North, I didn't know. We study from 5th to 10th standard. We study Hindi. We know to read. I knew to read, but I didn't know communication. Once I went there, automatically I started to speak in Hindi, though I was very strict regarding the language English, and I was employed for that only, that I do not know to speak in Hindi. And then I ended up learning Hindi, a bit of Haryanvi, a bit of Punjabi. So I don't know, but some words interconnects with my mother tongue, since it is a Aryan type of root, so I can understand few languages of those. So I would like to thank you for this opportunity once again.
You're welcome.
And about me, I'm an educationist. I like to say that. And I'm also an activist. I also participated in many active activities of fighting against the poor and the marginalized in many areas in Karnataka, as well as I was there in the farmers' rally for a month. I participated there also. So because that is because of my family background, I grew up in that way. So it was easy for me because of the languages that we spoke, different languages, mingled with different culture people. You know, language and culture is interlinked in a way. I'm not a language teacher, but still I feel I did little research. So I feel that that taught me many things. So I could understand, I could adjust. So I'm a good example, I think so, to mingle.
Absolutely.
And I can be like a Punjabi with Punjabis. I can be a Haryanvi, I can be a South Indian, I can be a North Indian, I can be a Northeast. I mean, anywhere I can adjust because of the
Of course, ma'am.
language and feeling at home with the different language and cultured people. I don't feel left out. So
Absolutely, ma'am.
yeah, so that is one plus point, and I can say that uh, you asked me to say the essence of language
No, ma'am, I have just
of
talked
learning is
about
that
your.
people are able to communicate with each other.
No, ma'am, we have not
So
started up with the questions. I'm talking about
oh,
you as a learner.
me
For you
as
as a
a
learner, whatever you have told, we can sum up this that when you learn a language, you know their culture and values, and your mind broadens, and you are able to adjust with the people. And
yes,
at the very same time, when you are talking with someone in their language, you are trying to, communicate with them properly when you use
yes,
their language. If you're talking to a Punjabi or Haryanvi in the language, you are able to communicate more properly. And that is the essence and that is the importance of language. We'll come up to the questions, ma'am, in the next round, and
yeah.
we'll come up to. Thank you so much, ma'am. Welcome.
Thank you.
Next, we have Dr. Shija PR, ma'am. She is the principal of SNS Academy, Coimbatore, again, Tamil Nadu. Uh, she's an expert public speaker, excels in the field of curriculum development and education technology. She has a post graduation in economics, English, and education. After serving in designation of principal of 10 years Academy, it is an institution which has certain standards in public schooling in the ever-changing dynamic world of education. SNSN Academy is a dynamic institution where demands excellence, competency, hard work, and to provide scope of growth for career and personality of students. She's a master trainer of COE, CBSE on new academics reforms, classroom management, gender sensitivity, and life skills teaching, and conducting many workshops, approximately 25 and more, for school teachers on CCE documentation and SS teaching, gender sensitivity, classroom management, evidence gathering, and the course holistic training, etc. She has worked as a inspection team member for affiliation and accreditation of CBSE schools in Kerala and Karnataka. She is a certified instructor in spoken English, trained by Trinity College, London, and she has received also many awards on national and international level, as well as associated with so many associations on national and international level. We welcome you, Shija ma'am, and
Thank
you are a CBSE. You told she is a certified instructor in spoken English. What do you mean when you
Yes,
say that you are a certified instructor in spoken English?
actually, first of all, thank you, sir, for arranging this, and welcome to all other panelists also. And the communication as something should be relevant for the other one to understand our emotion, feeling, and the whole thing, what we actually mean. So communication training also should be like that. So I was fortunate enough to get a kind of certification program from Trinity College of London, because London or UK people are the master or the native speakers of English. So once when I was associated with their training, I was able to understand than teaching English, making the child to understand English and to use the English properly, communicate English effectively, to make other person to understand our emotion, our knowledge, and everything. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this was the thing, that a certified trainer in case of communication, so we can enhance the teacher's capacity to train the children or to facilitate the children in language learning than being just a teacher of language. That's what
That's good.
actually it means, sir.
That's great,
Yeah.
ma'am. That's great. Welcome, ma'am. Next, we have
Thank you, sir.
welcome, ma'am. Then we have Jaswinder Singh, sir. He's the founder and CEO of Wordsworth Lab. He's the ex-founder director of DesignMate, which is now a part of Reliance Group company. MD and CEO of Wordsworth English Language System. 32 years of experience in the field of education he has. Successfully run 2 edtech companies. He has worked as a consultant to the government of Bahrain through UNESCO, advised the government on the use of ICT in education, passionate edtech leader. Wordsworth is used by over 1 million learners annually through more than 3,000 schools and colleges. Launched the world's first Sanskrit language lab, also developed language lab for Hindi. He is based out in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Let me tell you that Jaswinder sir, I met him in one of the session we were attending together as a speaker. When he told me about the lab, so I requested him that you will have to come in one of the session, season for few episodes, and let us know what is happening in the other part of the education industry. That what are these types of labs and how they are useful? Are they useful or not? Because we are meeting up with so many people who are coming up in our school office and giving their visiting cards, that they're having a number of companies, you are not able to deal with them. But when I came to know about your, lab, how it is helpful, because just now we were in the afternoon, I was somewhere sitting somewhere, we were talking that people say English का कोई भी teacher नहीं है, तो किसी भी teacher को English teacher बना दो. And English is the base where the most of the schools, we are not here gathered here to talk about our schools only. We are talking about the schools pan India, common factor. So the common factor is the language learning. It may be English learning, it may be any language, because NEP also says that the child has to be taught in any language, even the regional language. The child should understand that. So coming up to you, sir, when sir came in and told about his, so sir, we want to know that how did it came into your mind that you have to start up this type of project? You told me that you had started up something during the time when our this beloved Prime Minister, this Mr. Narendra Modi was Chief Minister then. Please elaborate that what happened with you, how you started, and how did you came up with Wordsworth Lab, sir?
Thank you, Chandok ji. Thank you for the introduction. So I would like to, first of all, welcome all the panelists. So glad to be with all of you. I would, start with something where Pramod Kumar sir has done a lot. He started his career as, being in the IT training field. Sir, I started the same way. So we had a company by the name of ACT Univ, based out of Gujarat, and we were a homegrown company of Gujarat, and we had around 42 centers in Gujarat itself. And we were given the, that is the time when the, IT boom was there, and we still run these centers. But at that time, we were given the project of training around 50,000 people from the government and the semi-government department by the government of Gujarat. So we were training them, and that is the time when, our current Prime Minister, Honorable Modi sir, was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. He picked us up and said, you have to train 100,000 people in English every year. And it was a surprise, a pleasant surprise. We were so happy. And then he said, I will give you the students, I'll give you the infrastructure, you get your trainers and start doing this. Because we were doing training the entire department and all that. But he had one very strong point as a part of the deliverable. He said, for every one center that you set up in the urban areas of Gujarat, you'll have to set up two centers in rural Gujarat. Again, we were happy. But we did not know that we went to the rural part of the country or state, we realized we didn't have the right kind of teachers to deliver language training. And no teacher from tier 1 or tier 2 city would want to go down to a tier 3 or tier 4 town. I know. Plus, who would want to do that? So this brings me to another part is, I always, I work with around 3,000 schools. We've trained more than 25,000 teachers on language training. We've actually tell schools that, you cannot import a teacher. You have to develop them, whosoever you get it. And that is the situation we had. Nobody was ready to come in. And that's where, since I was, a part of, the content creation, I was the founder director of DesignMate. That's the company which designed the entire math and science content for Educomp. Educomp ne khud kuch nahi banaya tha. They rode on the product known as DesignMate, which was developed by me and my company. That was it. So what we did was, we said, okay, let's get to something. Let's start developing content. And that's how we said that, a teacher who's not so good can deliver good if they have the right kind of tools. So what we say is, content is a tool which anybody or a teacher can use to deliver something in a better way. So that's how we came into this industry. While doing this, we realized that language acquisition should not happen after school. I mean, after school learning, it should happen during the schooling, right? That means it should happen when you are studying in school, not when you go to colleges. And we were given the project for students who have completed the schooling. And that's where we started our first lab. And we worked in a place known as Halol, where the General Motors has their, had their factory of making the cars. And there we realized that if you use technology aided tools, and teachers, we are okay, not that great, they can deliver better. And this brings me to, a lot of you have talked about Sunita Gandhi. So their school, City Montessori, has got QCI, Quality Circle International or something, where, schools from different parts of the country, they come and the students participate. So this school, which I was working with, was a Gujarati medium school. That means the medium of instruction was Gujarati and English was taught as a lower language, and they would always have problems in, debates and elocutions. But after about using the product for a year and a half, too, they started excelling. That gave me a lot of confidence, and that's how we got into doing this, and that's how we've completed. So we went on to do more than 5 lakh something people trained people for Gujarat government, and 1,80,000 were certified by Cambridge. In fact, ma'am, I did work with Trinity College London also, because at that time they had their somebody was based out of Hyderabad, Jo Tun Sen, ma'am. If you talk about Trinity College London, when they trained the people here, so we've been working very closely with Trinity College London. We worked with Pearson Test of English, and we're working with Cambridge on how to create content and how to deliver or how to create products which can help students enjoy language learning. I say that if a child loves a subject, you don't have to teach them. Okay. And language, if it is taught like a subject, you definitely have to teach them. So why don't you make something language which is lovable? So our caption is for the love of English or love of language. If a child is made to acquire a language in a way that he or she doesn't take it as a burden, language becomes very, very easy. Like ma'am said that she knows such a lot of languages. Ma'am, because you enjoy those parts, you enjoy talking to people, right? Similarly, if I meet Bengali, I'll say 2 lines in Bengali. If I meet somebody who's from Maharashtra, I'll say 2 lines in Marathi. So actually language is a connect to the other person's soul. If you want to come close to a person, you want to understand a person, know that person's language. And very rightly said initially that if you language and culture both are interwoven, interconnected. Our country, which has got so many languages, has equally that many number of cultures, and that is what binds us, that we love to speak each other's languages. That is where we are one country. Otherwise we would have been broken into, I don't know how many, 50,000 cities or something. But because we love language, we love each other's languages, that is why we've been one. And that's why I'm very happy to be in the language industry. Pramod sir, I was an IT trainer. Microsoft ne utha liya mujhe, bhej diya दूसरी countries mein, go and teach computers. That's how I started. And using that experience, World Bank picked me up, UNESCO picked me up and said, okay, now go and do ICT project. But my heart still got me back into developing content of language. So that's what language is. It's an amazing thing. I too am a science graduate. I am from the electronics field. I'm actually a programmer, a coder. But pata nahi, but language is language. You never know kab diwana bana de. That's it.
That's great. So fabulous.
But your
Fabulous.
words is very, very impressive.
Thank you so
We
much.
are using it since last 4 years.
Yes,
It's
sir. Yes,
very,
sir.
very, very interesting for the children even also.
Ji. Sir, I'll connect with you later on this part. I'll talk to you about this later on. We are
Acha,
happy that you are a customer, and we're happy that you're there.
That's great, sir. That's great. And sir, 3,000 school plus means that you are almost in all the part of the country.
Hanji,
You have reached Jammu, and I have not been knowing. Many a times I come to know during the session only. You're knowing the people, and you're connected before only.
ji, sir.
Sir, you're so much famous. You're connected with more than 3,000 principals as of now. You're welcome, sir. Thank you so much for sparing time and coming up to the show and letting us know about the importance, as well as how we can manage up. Because in remote areas or even in cities also, we don't get good teachers, especially when you talk about these particular languages like English, and you will be coming up to Sanskrit also. So people have started taking interest in Sanskrit because you have developed that, and we'll talk about in the further show also, sir. Thank you so much and welcome, sir.
Thank
We'll
you.
come up to the next round. I won't call it as a question round. It will be a suggestion round. We'll come up. We need to have a very precise answer. We'll come up to our first eminent guest, Ritu Chitranshi, ma'am. Ma'am, we will like to know, as we are discussing, what is the importance of language learning according to you? Ma'am, you're on mute.
Okay. Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the very fact that all of us are able to share our thoughts and ideas so effectively speaks about the importance of language learning. And language is a vital part of human connection. Although all species have their ways of communicating, probably through sounds or signs or symbols, humans are the only ones that have mastered the cognitive language communication. And of course, language allows us to share our ideas, thoughts, and feelings with others. It has a power to build societies and also to tear them down. So if we're asking ourselves, why is language important? I think we'll have to break it down to truly understand why. Language is what makes us human. It is how people communicate. By learning a language, we mean we have mastered a complex system of words, their structures, and grammar to effectively communicate with others. To most people, language comes naturally. When a child is born, the sounds, the first emanated sounds are the first step towards learning language. And we learn how to communicate even before we can talk. And as we grow older, we find ways to manipulate language to truly convey what we want to say with words and complex sentences. Of course, all communication is not through language, but mastering a language certainly helps speed up the process. And this is one of the many reasons why language is so important. It is important to culture and society to adapt, to understand, to be tolerant towards each other. It is important for individuals and their development. And it is, of course, very important for personal communication. So, though much of human communication is non-verbal, we can demonstrate our thoughts, feelings, and ideas by our gestures, expressions, tones, emotions. But still, language is very important for personal communication. Whether it's being able to talk to your friends or your partner or your family, having a shared language is necessary for these types of interactions. That is what I feel. Um, and adding to what Mr. Jaswinder just said, this passion about giving what is best to our children, as it is, our children are lagging far behind and they have actually lost out on a lot of important years in the past 2 years specifically. And with the new education policy now being framed and that beautifully done, I'm all in for finding new ways of doing it. Thank you.
Fabulous, ma'am, fabulous. And this is what the thinking should be, that people should pay importance to the language learning. And this is the reason that people will be able to communicate, even the children will be able to communicate. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to Savita, ma'am. Savita, ma'am, according to you, what is the importance of language learning?
See, I think everybody will talk about the language, and this is what we have to understand, that we are actually the people of language, those who are making our views to come up on the stage. So no matter what your plans for the future are, speaking more than one language is always an incredible useful skill to have. As this is especially true for children, because as they grow into adolescence, practicing new language skills provide them with a platform to understand the world from a totally new perspective. Because this is the language only. I think when I was teaching English, so I always enjoy teaching English. So the passion, enjoy, these words, it doesn't mean that I am just talking to them in a second language. I have to make the environment so cozy and comfortable where I feel that children should not feel that they are taught. In the same way as the things are discussing just now, we were listening that language is never taught, it is caught. So how you are speaking is much more important for them. So all those skills, those which are important, listening, writing, reading, all skills are developed with the language. And it doesn't mean that you are teaching what language is not that much important, but the importance is this, that what you are teaching, is it very clearly reaching the child or not? Clarity of thought has to be reached to the child in a way. So for teacher, irrespective of the language, which language, English, Marathi, Kannadi, whatever languages, but the only thing is how to teach should also be a language. So maybe with the expression, and if the 16 chapters are there, I always try to sit and find out new ways. I mean, I should have the 16 ways to teach that chapter. maybe the English language only, but how to teach is also a language. So expressions, without speaking anything, also we are speaking a lot of things through our gestures, through our actions. So all these things are very, very important to be understood for a normal teacher. Even whatever subject she is taking, language has its important to execute her thoughts, how she is doing and how it is being exposed. So exposure of language improves empathy. For me, I feel that it improves empathy because you touch somebody. And how do we feel when we ask who is your favorite teacher? Children are not able to tell a long list of teachers, one or two, those who are really very close to their heart, those who have really touched them. Maybe he is a Sanskrit teacher, but favorite teacher can be a Sanskrit teacher also. It doesn't mean that it has to be the English teacher. And Hindi teachers, normally English teachers are most favorable teachers because they teach their thoughts in a way where they feel that they are going to make them understand the second language. So they have to adopt different kind of gestures also to prove that they are taking a language which is not of their own town, and they are teaching them. So that empathy comes, and children at this little tender age, they are learning this kind of skill also. It doesn't mean that they are only reading 3 hours, or they are reading, writing, or speaking skills are there, but they are learning the empathy. That's what I love telling this, quoting this kind of statement over here at this platform, because I am a person who is totally feeling that, first of all, touch the child by the heart and make him feel that he is with fun, he is attached with you, not in the environment. So that empathy comes in that, and the character is defined, and it has to be so pure from your side. So as ma'am was telling, that it is very important to teach the teachers how to teach, which is really very important for all of us to understand, that anyone cannot go and prove that he or she is a teacher. So it has to be. Why did I quote it in the first introduction only, that it was by default that I became a teacher. So I'm learning that my experiences of my life says that what you missed in thinking, now you can do it very clearly, because you know the pitfalls of that. You know the pit stops of that, where you had hurdled and you did it. I am a KV student, and I know that daughter of defense person. So we had to go all the time. It is multilingual kind of meetings we had. All different people were there in the meetings, and the all playground everywhere. And KV were the schools 40 years back I'm talking about. We can say that they were the private schools kind of culture was there, because they trained people in such a way that they are not only bilingualism, but all kind of health benefits also they thought of at that time. And now we can prove it, that yes, speaking multiple languages can slow down the onset of dementia. This is scientific. Ritu must be understanding why I'm touching up, because I did a lot of study on it and found that language does not mean what language, but how it has been executed is the language. Whatever we are teaching is our language. So we have to be very, very clear that first of all, we should abridge ourselves, and try to come up with all the benefits of the language. Children have a learning advantage also when they know, because connection is there. Now new NEP has come. Everybody is thinking, how will we do that? It has to be in Hindi language, local language. It's not that. It's not that. We have to understand that whatever we are teaching, what subject we are teaching, we have to have a command on our language first, because our language should be expressive. Our language should be in such a way that we can reach the child very easily. Okay, so
Savita ma'am, whatever you want to say, if we sum up in one sentence, we can say that that we say that in pre-primary we should have playway method.
Yes.
Actually, from PG to grade 12, we should have playway method.
Yeah, fun learning.
In one sentence,
all
fun
the
learning,
time.
playway method or fun learning should be from not only the pre-primaries, it should be from PG to grade 12.
Sir, I was sharing the example of class 12, that all 16 chapters were taught in different ways. Some in playway method, some in poetic.
Ma'am,
So
I had been accountancy teacher throughout my life, and I had been teaching accountancy in playway method.
Yes, that's
English can be taught in playway method.
Yes.
But accountancy, you can teach any subject in playway method.
No, even physics can be taught in a rapper song.
Any subject, ma'am. When accounts can be done, so physics so possibly can be done. Bio, physics, every subject. SST, history is so difficult. You can make the children do the character and make them do a drama. Everything.
Yeah.
Like a story. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. We'll come up to Pramod sir. Pramod sir, according to you, we say the essence of language learning is that people are able to communicate with each other. What do you feel on this? Comment on this, that we are able to communicate with each other.
Right. Thank you so much, Chandhok ji. Like, Ritu ma'am and ma'am has mentioned here right now, Savita ma'am has mentioned here, that language, they're not talking about that language in which we have to teach. It may be a sign language, even also. Language is how to communicate in an effective way, and how we are going to our communication more effective. If we talk about roughly, 6,500 spoken languages are there in the world, and each has got its unique value. Every language has got its own value. But in simple terms, if you say that language is it is an effective way of communicating each other. If I had to say something, and if I wanted to make you convince, so language should not be the barrier. Language should be say, for example, if we are going to some other country and we don't understand, the Japanese or the Chinese, what we are doing, we are taking a translator so that the effective communication can be done. So that way, that NAP also is saying this thing, now the regional languages needs to be, taken care of, and you have to teach at least one regional language. I'll tell you in Jammu, we have got, 3 languages. I'm using 4 languages right now, 3rd language, and 1 is in hobby. Urdu was an official language there. Hindi is a language. Sanskrit is a language here. English is a language. Then, some kind of French language is in hobby. So sometimes, it is very difficult for the children even also to mingle the things, where the child should go. But what I understood about this thing, that is simply whether it is English, whether it is Hindi or Sanskrit or Bengali or any other language, how effectively we are going to, communicate with each other. That is the most important part of the communication language. Being multilingual, yes, because the reason that nowadays everybody is moving towards the multilingual, and it is the time where you need to be the multilingual. So many types of, languages and, kind of, observations have been made. But see in fact, if you're going to a doctor, I'll give you just an example. And if you are not able to communicate what kind of, what problems you are having, or if a doctor is not able to communicate you that what exactly you have to use the medicine and how you have to take the medicine, it is not going to affect you. So it means somehow, somewhat, the treatment is is incomplete. So if you want to get a better treatment or a better, lifestyle, it means we need to understand each other. And there is, nothing like this that we have to understand the language proficiency. And that is the essential part of our life, even also nowadays. Because see for that any matter, ma'am was talking about the cognitive, development of the child. See, these are the learning, strategies where, we can classify into 6 groups even also. There is a cognitive, metacognitive, memory-related things, and compensatory things, effective and social, emotional, ethos, ethics. So many things are there which makes us, perfect, that how to use the proper language, the effective language, and to say what we are saying with conviction. Ki yes, this is the language. If you understand, if it is a sign language, no matter, it's not important that we are using, what, Hindi, English, or some other language, or Sanskrit. It may be a sign language even also. So if we are able to communicate, that is the importance of the essence of the language. And that is what is required nowadays, where everyone needs to understand the value of the language, importance of the language.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. And you have a deep knowledge of all the things. That is why you are heading the whole of the Jammu, sir. And I have heard so good about you from the other schools also. It may be Sumen Singh, it may be, the Vidyalaya, that boy who's doing wonderful job, or it may be Kunal. You are doing a commendable job, sir, and you are everywhere, Dehradun, Chandigarh, and thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to Monica ma'am. Monica ma'am, your views or comments that we say that essence of or importance of language learning is the most important thing right now. We have discussed that the most important thing is through English or language learning, we are able to communicate. Ma'am, you're on mute.
I just want to say the very definition of language is the principal method of human communication consisting of words used in a structured and conventional way and conveyed by speech, writing, or gesture. It consists, the definition itself says that it is communication. Language means communication, whether through speech, writing, or gesture. So the essence of language learning is communication. So how we communicate is maybe any of these methods. I can say that. And language is a tool. We say language is a tool for communication and cultural reality disclosure. So through that only we are able to learn each other. Even a deaf and dumb child can understand language. So it need not be words and sounds. It can be gesture also.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
So language also is a system of symbols used by humans to communicate or express ideas and thoughts to others. The language used is influenced or affected the culture and vice versa. That is what I said in the beginning. So we can say language and culture has a very close relationship. And by experience, we know we can touch people through our gestures more than our language also sometimes. So I would like to state here that language means communication. How you communicate, without sound also you can communicate. So that point struck me a lot when I was doing little research regarding this. So it is all how you make other person to understand your thought, the epistemology of language.
Absolutely.
So it is very deep within. If you go on studying that, it is quite deep. It was so interesting when I read about language. Even the word language itself has deeper meaning in itself. Because it is communicating. It's not, we are thinking only of words, of language. It's not that way. It's only communication.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. We'll come up to Shija PR, ma'am. Ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. We say that technology plays an important role in language learning. Already we have understood. Yeah, we have already understood that is the importance of language. And when when we say that technology added up into the language learning, it enhances the, the development of the child. Please, your views on this.
Sir, actually, technology is always a motivator or a booster in case of language learning. And it can always hold the hands in a better way. Like the interest of the learner can be maintained, or it can enhance the understanding. Always technology can boost the learner's experience and also the thing. In the first talk, I think you remember that I was telling that always we have to facilitate the learning. It's not that the teacher communicates or teacher provides the knowledge. We are only going to facilitate the things. So once when we facilitate the knowledge, or once when we facilitate the classroom with needed technology which can sustain the interest, the learner will be better. And even the nano learning, everybody knows that nano learning is the fastest or better learning methodology, in which the learner will get his own pace. The learner is getting an understanding, and the first concept is absolutely clear, and then he goes to the next one. So this nano learning or gamified learning can always motivate their interest. They'll be better understanding, and they will sustain in that. Especially in case of school kids, I know that they are always interested to experience new things, and they wanted to try new things, and their games and other areas are fascinating for them. So once if we provide such kind of a technical support, any complex learning can be better and easy. That's what I think.
Amazing,
And
amazing.
we at SNS always does that. We provide variety of experience to the children, and we provide gamified learning, different modules. Even I think we have used the platform of Coursera, and to my knowledge, this is the only institution where we have completed Coursera learning platform for the children. College students and others, it is common, but for school students, when I discussed with the Coursera people in US, they said there is no module for them. But I was able to complete 608 courses for my children from Coursera. And now we are implementing IBM P-Tech learning. So all these kind of wonderful platform attracts them, provides them wonderful experience. So technology always helps us to boost the children, but it
Amazing.
never replaces the teacher, but it will boost their understanding. It will boost their learning and all these things in a better way. This is what my experience.
Amazing, ma'am. Amazing. You're doing a wonderful job in your school even. We'll come up to Jaswinder sir. Jaswinder sir, as we have heard with all the people, and this is your Wordsworth lab is based on online only, and you have seen the 2 years the children they have come up with a new system of learning, and now when the
Yes.
schools will get open, we'll have a blended learning.
Blended
How come?
learning, yeah.
How come, Jaswinder sir, that when the schools are going to open, how this mix your Wordsworth lab will help the teachers as well as the students with the blended learning? And also at the end, please tell us something about the Sanskrit lab also.
Ji sir, ji sir. So you see, pandemic this way or that way has taught us one thing, that blended learning is there to stay. Okay, there are two very important aspects that we need to understand. Just before me, ma'am did say that technology cannot replace a teacher. Technology has to support the teacher. Very well said. That's the correct way. But what technology does is it replicates a teacher to be multiple teachers at the same time. Because you understand, let's all understand that not everybody learns at the same pace. So if you use technology, each student can learn at his or her own pace. That's one thing. Second thing, technology helps students acquire a language. I'm talking specifically language in the privacy of the headphones, right? They want to repeat something 10 times, 20 times, 5 times. It's up to them. Nobody knows that. The third thing is technology helps them focus on areas where they need to work more. That's what it happens. Now, when we talk about the blended form, when we talk about the online form, let's understand pandemic did a lot of harm. Yes, but if you look at the good part is it has made us embrace, understand, and be comfortable be comfortable with technology in a faster way. As compared, it would have taken us not less than 10 years to do what we are doing today as teachers, as learners. So what blended thing is going to happen is that education is going to happen in school, right? Delivery is going to happen in school, but acquisition is going to happen at home. What you deliver has to be practiced, has to be worked on, and that is going to happen in school, because in school you do not have that much time. You see, every year one more subject is added. You still have those 45 periods in a week. How much can you do? And you can't tell students you don't need to know these things. We have got to remember this only this much time. So what will happen is, first, schools will have flipped classrooms where teachers will say, tomorrow I'm going to deliver this thing, come prepared. So again, that is technology at home. Then when the teacher delivers or has a discussion and then she gives them work to do it again, it happens. The same thing is happening with English as a language also. Let's understand, let's take it up. I suppose most of us are having CBSE schools, right? Just a couple of years back, CBSE introduced in class 10th a topic known as writing an analytical paragraph. Earlier, that was there in MBA. It is there in IELTS exams to get 7.5 bands. So what is happening is, the time is same, the duration is same, but there's more to be acquired. So things will have to be done at home. So whatever the child can do it on his own will always be done at home, but the delivery will happen in the school. So what we have started doing is, we say, let the teaching happen in the school, let the practice happen at home. Now, what is this practice? Let me tell you, suppose this is a point A, and this is point B. When we take a child from point A to point B, that means the student does this learning or acquires these concepts. Then what you have to do is, you have to ask them questions in and around those things, which are known as concept clearing questions. So when the student has to do this, that the student can do on his own, at his own pace, and whenever he wants. So these practice sessions can happen at home. So the online labs, what they do is, they allow a child to actually work at home, allows them to work as much as they want till the time they acquire a certain thing. And technology helps the teacher sitting at her place or in the school to exactly come to know what exactly that the child did it. So these reporting structures, that is something that works beautifully. So students, I may learn in a different way. Like earlier ma'am did say, there are some people who understand by listening auditory, some by reading visual, but some by writing, that is kinesthetic. The other thing is, there was one other point was put up, that you see, when you write, Pramodji, I think you said, when you write, you remember better. Why? There was a study done by MIT, US. They said that if you have to redesign the human body based on the size of each part of a body to be designed based on the usage of the brain that part does, the biggest or the smallest part of a body would be what? Our limbs, our legs. And the biggest part would be our hands, because the hands use the maximum part of the brain, right? So this is what is happening is, when you get a child to go home, work on his own, and give him more and more activities, whether by writing, whether by typing, whether by doing activities, even doing things like this, dragging something, right? When you want to, you have match the following. We used to simply drag a line. It is not dragging a line. It is connecting two parts of the brain. So these things, when you bring in with technology and in a gamified form, because today's child is very chanchal. I don't know what is the word for that in English. They get bored very easily. Ritu ma'am, what we need to do is, we need to give them things in a way that they love to do it. So when you make language learning in a gamified form, right, in a competition, so that all happens when they have got spare time. So what we have done is, we've actually redesigned the whole thing. Pramod sir, I was actually going to talk to you about that later on, that we have redesigned the entire thing, where only the teaching or the delivery part is done in the school, and the entire part of practice is done at home. That means you have got more time for other subjects, and practice can be done home. That's what our online lab has done. And in fact, in the last 2 years, the pandemic years, wherever we put it up, they've enjoyed it. And kids are actually learning with more passion, with more interest. because there's nobody watching them. How much time have they taken? Because language acquisition is like mathematics. Some take less, some take more time. That's it. Coming on to the other point is what we did was we also started working with Sanskrit. So I think Savita ma'am, who's from KV just said that. Ritu ma'am, yes, Savita ma'am. So Savita ma'am, in fact, 3 years back, the KV commissioner called me and said that we want a Sanskrit lab. And today, I am proud to say that 570 Kendriya Vidyalayas use the Wordsworth lab with the Sanskrit component also. Now, why? When NEP was being designed, we were called by the department and said that we want something in Sanskrit. We started working on it. It almost took us more than a year to design it. But when we started working on a language like Sanskrit, I remember I used to be punished severely for not doing good in Sanskrit. Maybe because the way I was taught Sanskrit was not good enough. Then when we started developing, we realized that language learning can also be made so interesting that anybody would start loving that language. And that's how we started working on Sanskrit. And we realized that the most logical language in the world is Sanskrit. They say that if you want to go in for IT, you should do Sanskrit. A lot of people would wonder, ye Sanskrit or computers ko kya lena dena? But exactly it is. You see, even the spelling of a word in Sanskrit, what letter comes after the first and the second and third, there's a logical rule for that. That's why it does. The other thing is, Pramod sir, you will get this in the new programming languages. You can have any syntax, right? Aage pichhe ko doesn't matter. Sanskrit is a language where if you have a sentence and you can interchange the words, still it will make the same meaning. Let me give you an example. Ritu ma'am, the other teacher, Shija ma'am, Savita ma'am, Pramod sir, and ma'am, if I have to say my name is Jaswinder, how would I say that in Sanskrit? I say Mama Nama Jaswindara. But if I say Jaswinder Mama Nama, that is also correct. Nama Mama Jaswinder, that is also correct. Jaswinder Nama Mama, Jaswinder Mama Nama, anything is correct. Why? Because that is a logical thing. You actually get to understand. So that is what promoted us to start working with Sanskrit as a language. And then we went on to English because NEP was there. Now NEP says that the foundation years, your main subjects should be taught in the local language. It's a very, it's the best thing to have happened. If you see a child is struggling with English and you're teaching him math and science in English, let him acquire English. But you can always take them to the math and science subjects to be done in, say, Hindi or Punjabi or Bengali or Tamil or Kannada, any language. So what will happen is their love for that subject will increase and their hatred or their problem with English as a language will go away, because some students do not like English because they are not able to do well in the other subjects because of English. So this is a very is right step that they've taken. And one more important thing I would like to conclude here. If you speak more than one languages, the neurons work better, ma'am. Right? They connect better. And it is said, if you speak 3 or more languages, you will think better, you will do better. That is why Indians are more intelligent than most other people from most other countries. There are so, you tell me one, show me one Indian who knows only one language. Not possible. You can't survive with one language in India. So that is something which is working in. So a beautiful field language, something where you can actually go deeper and deeper and deeper to know that language connects people, connects culture, and language is one thing which differentiates or makes us from a Homo sapien to a human. Jo caves mein the, from till what we are, the only difference that has made what we are today is the art of communication, that is language. So I would conclude by saying that language is a beautiful thing and one should acquire as many languages as you can, and you will love your country, fellow citizens, fellow country people more and more. That's what.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. And we are running in shortage of time. We'll come up to the next round and a very quick answer, a 1-minute answer. I will just start up with Pramod sir. Pramod sir, if we say that every child is born up with different mindset, he can. How can we ensure that equal language learning is taking place with students of different mindset?
Yeah, exactly right, sir. every child, we cannot, compare any child with any other child because they have got a different mindset. If you talk about the mindset in, what in theoretical part, there is, one is the fixed mindset and second is what the growth mindset. Fixed mindset means what he is fixed into a boundary. Okay, though beyond this, I cannot think. And few are there, or most of the children, they have got the growth mindset, where what they generally, what they know that they can do anything. They can develop certain things. They can, go beyond their limits. They can, perform their, they communicate certain things to up to an extent, and they are capable of doing this thing. Why this is happening? You know what? Because it is we as a teachers, we are playing a very vital role in this, because it is what it is. We are creating a sort of boundaries. So if we have to change this fixed mindset to the growth mindset, it means what? We as a teachers have to work or to walk a little more step ahead, and we need to develop these kinds of, what improvements can be achieved or can be, what maintained, so that their frequency, those who have got the fixed mindset, they can change to the frequency so that they can go for the achievements of the things, and they are capable of achieving something. Like I was talking in my introduction, because we have worked with the, writing skills and reading skills. It was very much there because they are into a fix. How to format the letter A, they don't know where to write letter A, small a or capital A, where to draw the, the slanting line, where is to draw, what the sleeping lines, and how to write in a connecting way, a small b, capital A, capital B. So that was their mindset. So that mindset is required to be changed so that their frequency matches, and the frequency changes from the fixed mindset to the growth mindset. So many activities are there. Like Jaswinder ji has mentioned, the gamification is one of the most important activity. Through gamification, we can achieve from fixed mindset to the growth mindset. Then different, what teaching strategies can be made. Values. We need to teach the value of challenges, acceptance of the challenges. That is the value of the challenges. Yes, we can achieve this thing, or we can do this thing, or we can also, make the children into the habit of, yes, I can do it. So that yes, I can do it, that plays a vital role in this also. Then what? We need to encourage the child, because that kind of encouragement, we don't have to compare. Comparison is very, very wrong method of, getting the things improved. By doing comparison, what, we cannot improve the things. But yes, by making them understand, we are not comparing, but you know what, you need to achieve this, and how to achieve this, that we need to teach this to the children. And that way, what, if yes, or when quality has been developed amongst the children, they will certainly. But one thing is important here, which I need to mention here: love for the language. Without
Absolutely
this
right.
love for the language, what, nothing can be
Nothing
done.
will happen. Nothing can.
Nothing will happen.
Absolutely, sir. Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to Ritu ma'am again. Ma'am, just a precise answer. We say that different skills develop with the language learning. Please discuss in short one or two skills, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Before I begin with the answer to your question, I would, like to applaud Mr. Jaswinder Singh, sir, because you have resonated with the chord I have, the passion I have for, reforming the way we teach language. So kudos to you. And of course, we can say that Rome was not built in a day, and so language cannot be built in a day. And language is a key to, unlocking all these subjects that we forget. And we waste a lot of initial years in teaching subjects without realizing that the basis of those subjects is language, be it English, be it Hindi. And we totally treat in a very different and in a wrong manner. So as S.S.Chandhok sir has mentioned that we are running short of time. So a lot of discussion has been going on the skills which lead to after language learning or the skills which are developed. So of course there are language learning has been shown to greatly enhance student performance across the curriculum, and language learning has been shown to improve a students' cognitive function, including, but it is not limited to, leading to enhanced problem solving skills, enhanced metacognition, improved verbal and spatial abilities. And when I say spatial abilities, that's a capacity to understand, remember, reason the spatial relations among objects and spaces. And then again, improved memory function. I remember Savita ma'am mentioning, this dementia. It actually delays the dementia. And again, memory function is improved both long term and short term. Enhanced creative thinking capacity, critical thinking capacity, more flexible and creative thinking, imagination, improved attitude towards the target language and culture. So this is what my 2 cents are.
So Ritu ma'am, in precise, we can say that the language learning brings about all-round development of the child.
Of
We can
course,
say,
sir.
in one line, we can say that.
No man is an island, and for meeting people and communicating, reaching out, you need language.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. We'll come up to Savita ma'am. Please, we'd like to add up into this within 1 minute.
I will not take even 1 minute because Ritu has very nicely explained that question. And I only want to say that it is actually the language is improving, memory, problem solving, and critical thinking skills are enhanced. And you can see that through language, you can enhance your concentration also. Because see, it's 1.5 hour has gone. We are not going to understand what has happened, but time is going on. But still, see, we all are listening to each other. Listening anyone is also a language. One has to understand that how patiently you can listen. And of course, you have summed up Rituji's in a nice way that you become all-round development is there, holistic development is there. And I must say that as a person, you become multitasking because you have a command. And Pramodji was telling that you can say, yes, man, you can become, I can do it. So these kinds of things comes when you have a command on your own thinking, on thoughts, although they are fabricated in your mind in your own way. Maybe it is positive or negative, but how do you portray that is the language. So all these things are there. Everything has been done very nicely. And I must tell you that as I started loving myself, I started loving language. Because when you love yourself, you really want to speak to someone. You really want to tell something which is there in your mind. So, and that is all languages. So I must use a couplet in Hindi if you allow me. I know that it is language border. So
sure,
it is nothing like that.
Ma'am, we are not talking about English language.
Yes,
we're talking about all
I
the
want
languages.
to prove it by telling that it is not that only English is the language. Sanskrit has been told by Jaswinder ji also that it has its own space in all the Indians. But I must tell you that there were times when I thought that I have not written Hindi and not read Hindi from long back. What has happened to me? So I started talking to myself, and now my Hindi teacher comes to me and sit in front of me and tell me, ma'am, please do something poetic into it. So I feel that my experiences should be shared, that language has no barriers, nothing, but still you'll start loving yourself. You will love all the languages very easily. Okay, so the couplet goes like that. खुद से जीतने की जिद है मुझे, खुद से जीतने की जिद है मुझे, खुद को ही हराना है. मैं भीड़ नहीं हूं दुनिया में, मेरे अंदर एक जमाना है. So that's what the language is. Thank you very much for listening.
Amazing, ma'am. Amazing, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to Monica, ma'am. We'll come up to you. Please, in not 1 minute, even half minute, please tell us that how do you deal with the mindset, I mean, the different mindset students? You're on mute.
first of all, there will be um, fear of learning new language in the students. So there is lack of time, opportunity, and the learning different. I mean, they are in a different pace of learning the languages because each one is differently able in their own way. Uh, Learning foreign languages also is a art where a student need to practice reading, writing, speaking, listening. They will learn in their own pace, and we have to allow them. I cannot put a child in one box and say all should learn a language alike, because different language is a different vision of life. So understand that and learn. I think they will take some time. So we need to provide opportunity. The beauty of language is that it helps to communicate and express ourselves. So allowing them to express.
That means, in one word, in one sentence, we can say providing opportunity to each and every child.
Yeah, and removing that fear of learning
Their
language.
fear. Of course, when giving them the opportunity, so all the
Yes.
students will be the toppers. Only one or two or three students will not be the toppers in that class.
And sometimes I felt that sometimes glorifying one language over the other, that also will curtail that. They will feel this language is not as great as my language.
Absolutely.
Get my point? Yeah.
When you
So
learn,
then
when
they
you
don't
learn
learn
another's
that
language,
Yeah,
when you
others'
learn
language.
someone else's language, so you get, you respect more of that language.
Yes.
You respect that language much more.
Yeah, I feel that is also a barrier sometimes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Thank
So
you so
I
much,
think,
ma'am.
yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Shija ma'am will come up to you a very fast answer. Technology is a tool with the help of which teachers can become smart and thus provide smart learning, because children which are coming back, which were before the pandemic, now they've come back, they have come back with the technology. There was not a name of, 1% of technology before the pandemic. Now they're come out with technology. So in 1 minute, please tell us that how technology is going to become a tool
Yes,
for the teachers first
yes,
and then for
Chandok
the
sir.
students.
Yes. As our earlier panelist Savita ma'am was talking, खुद को हराना है. उस खुद को हराने में actually we need the support of technology as a tool. So we have to make ourselves comfortable. We teachers should make ourselves comfortable to teach any language as a native speaker. See, I'm an English teacher, another one is a Sanskrit teacher or Hindi teacher, but we are not native speakers. But we should have the confidence enough to teach our children to speak like a native speaker by using the tool of technology. There, the nano teaching or asynchronized learning, everything takes place where we are getting associated with the native speakers, and it can help us. The pace of learning, the intonation of language, the way in which we take it up, and even the teacher herself will have a lot of hesitation. I have seen the teachers, English teachers, who hesitate to speak in English. They will tell that I will teach only in English, but when a general talk comes, I will go to mother tongue because I'm not confident. So that teacher will not be able to communicate properly, where we should have the people who are confident enough and able to take the child. So through a paced manner, and one concept, if that is clear alone, the child will be able to take up the next concept of language. Without learning the pronunciation, we cannot take the child to the next one, or without learning the adjective, we cannot take to adverb. So when all my 30 children are clear on the concept of adjective, then I can take them to adverb. But how do I understand? Technology can help me a lot in order to understand that paced learning. So there it plays a role, vital role. The language labs and various other things can give a correct information, feedback to the teacher and also to the learner, whether they are confident and acquired the skills required to go to the next stage.
So, ma'am,
That
we can
makes
say
a very
that, ma'am.
important thing.
So, ma'am, we can
Yeah.
say that these type of labs are the tools with the help
Yes,
which will be used by the teachers to build up the confidence of the
absolutely.
students, to build up the
Yes, sir.
confidence of the students.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you
sir.
so much, ma'am.
Yeah,
Jaswinder
thank
sir, you have heard everyone. What will you like to say about the whole session? And within a minute, sir, again, you also have the limitation of time.
Okay.
We have to come up to the secret round also.
Yeah, okay. So I'll just continue from where ma'am just left. When you teach, you learn better. Simple. So to acquire confidence, a teacher should teach When you teach, you learn more. When you learn more, you deliver better. When you deliver better, your kids become better, and then you have to teach better. So that's a cycle that works onto that. That's one thing. And technology always can support the teacher in getting that confidence of doing that. Okay, in getting resources, in getting to know a lot of things. You see, if I am a language teacher, does not mean that I know everything about a particular language, but through my delivery process, through my teaching career, I can always become better and better, and that will all be with more and more usage. You may feel a little this way, that I don't want to try it on somebody else. Why don't you try it on technology? So technology becomes your partner in learning. So that's what I would say. Consider technology as a partner in learning and a partner in delivery. Everything will be taken care of. So a short thing is, technology can be your partner in delivery and learning both.
Jaswinder sir, I can also sum up with all the things which we have talked about today, that as we look after, or we are after the results of the students, and we see that normally 3 to 4 students are the topper of the class out of 30 or 40, and our aim is that every student should be a topper, should get the maximum results. And with the help of tools or technology like your lab, what can happen is, if a child has come into the class, we can say, or he was absent, or he was not able to understand the topic, anytime when he goes back at home in the evening time or night or afternoon time, he can just come up to the app and he can see into it, and he can understand what the teacher taught today. Because when he'll understand listening it again, he will, when he'll come up the next day to the school, he will be equal to all the students. Hence the learning will be equal to all the students, and that is the most important aspect. People feel that what's the use of language? Afternoon only we were talking about this. If there is no teacher for English, you can put up any teacher. For the primary classes, you can put up any teacher. So that is the myth which people have, and through this type of sessions, we keep it, we pass it to the people, the principals, the management, the teachers, that the most important part is the language learning. And when that child is learning properly through the tools like this, he will be able to pace up his growth along with the other students. There won't be the 3 or 4 toppers, all the 30, 40 students with the topper of the school. That is for sure of the class. Thank you so much.
I would just add one thing.
Yeah, please.
We don't need toppers. We need happy people.
So
after a certain amount of money is only zeros. So
yes, sir.
Like initially, I think Savita ma'am did talk about it, that she's written on something. That's the most important thing. अगर हमारा बच्चा खुश है ना, तो 2 पैसे कम है, वो भी ठीक है. I mean, I would just, because we talking about language, and it's all with emotions. Language is something that you don't use with your brain, you use it with your heart. That's the only subject where you need the heart to work and not the brain to work. So, and that a happy person will always be a good, I would say, orator.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And Pramod sir has to be for very important work.
Yeah, so
we are going to come up. Yeah, we have to come up with the last round of secret round. That at the end of the session, because we say that we are in the school with the children of age between 3 to 18, we never grow above 18, and there is always a child in our heart. So everybody has to sing 2 lines. It may be filmy, it may be religious, it may be patriotic. Only 2 lines. Today it will be not like ladies first. It will be gents first, male first. And Dr. Pramod Kumar Srivastava, who is an all-rounder, had been in all the parts of the country, touched near Kanpur, also in Lucknow, and then gone back, will be the inspiration for us today.
Here only I am missing. Here only I am missing.
No, sir, you're not missing, and I'm not telling it before the session because nobody will be coming up because we can't sing. We are bad singers. Nobody's a singer over here. But it's a get together of the principals, where in the first part, we're trying to know about the principal, how his or her life journey had been as an educator. Second part, we had
singing
about
is not my cup of tea. I never sing any song.
Sir, nobody is a singer.
I used to listen.
Okay, put your hands up. Who's a good singer?
Listener? I'm a good listener.
No, sir, nobody's a good singer over here. But 2 lines had to be sung. This मतलब आते आप अपनी मर्जी से, जाएंगे हमारी मर्जी से. So you'll have to sing up 2 lines. Any patriotic, religious, sir. You can. What is the religious language over there, sir? Basically, I wanted to know from where do you belong. आप तो you are all past. नहीं सर, डोगरी तो होती है, लेकिन पता नहीं सर किस शहर के हैं, कहाँ के हैं.
Not belongs to Jammu. Belongs to Dehradun. That is earlier it was UP. Now it is Uttarakhand.
So any regional language you can also sing in 2 lines for with the English language also. That's not an issue in Hindi or any regional language or Dogri if you have come to know Dogri also.
Dogri, I don't know Dogri तो पता नहीं सर अभी सीखा ही नहीं यहाँ पे. It's very
Sir,
tough language Dogri.
please, sir.
But Dogri is, you know what, very much close to Punjabi. Punjabi and Dogri, you know what, sometimes
Kunal sung in Dogri. Last episode, Kunal sung in Dogri. So, sir, you can go for another language.
Kunal
sir.
is doing Dogri also because he is from Jammu only.
Yeah.
So he knows Dogri also. He knows Punjabi also. So he is very well, you know, very versed with, you know, Punjabi and Dogri and all. But Dogri again is a bit difficult for me. But I'm trying to learn Dogri even also a bit.
Sir, 2 lines, sir. Sir, 2 lines in any language, sir. Please.
कौन सा song से मैंने कोई गाता तो है नहीं.
आपने मैम को अपनी वाइफ को पहली बार कौन सा गाना सुनाया था? चलिए वही 2 लाइनें सुना दीजिए सर. अगर याद सामने खड़ी है, आप गा लीजिए सर.
वो तो सिंपल सा था, देखा एक ख्वाब तो सिलसिले हुए.
अरे वाह 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 सर,
वही सॉन्ग था वो.
That's great sir. एक लाइन गाइए सर, दोनों गाइए सर राइम में.
दोनों गाइए, अच्छा दोनों गाइए.
You get back around 25 years or so many years back, you got married and the first song you sang for her.
Did I sing any song? No. Please. So. ख्वाब तो ये सिलसिले हुए, दूर तक निगाहों में गुल खिले हुए, ये गीला है आपकी निगाहों में, रबी है फासले हुए, एक ख्वाब तो ये सिलसिले हुए. Thank you.
Sir, the award goes to you before anybody
not to me.
You with ma'am also you get the award, sir. The whole year award you're getting for all the episodes. You are going to get the first episode, sir. Second, third, anybody can take. Thank you so much, sir. Next we have Ritu ma'am. Ritu ma'am has sent a clapping and her thumb also that I want to sing the second number. And she's a very good singer. I know her.
No, sir.
Any 2 lines, ma'am. We can't repeat that. How did what's first song you sung with sir, with your husband?
Of course, that was 25 years ago. So, yeah.
Any song, ma'am, you feel like, not what you sung with her or with him. Any song.
Okay, that's a ghazal of Jagjit Singh, and which is very close to my heart. That's a philosophy which I feel is very close to my heart. Please don't mind if I go out of tune. दुनिया दुनिया जिसे कहते हैं, जादू का खिलौना है, मिल जाए तो मिट्टी है, खो जाए तो सोना है.
वाह.
Thank you.
क्या बात है.
Thank you.
क्या बात है. अरे वाह मैम, जो हम इतने साल में आपसे नहीं कुछ करा पाए वो हमने यहाँ पे आके लोगों के सामने देख लिया. मैम कानपुर में नहीं देख पाए. Oh my God, you are such a beautiful singer, ma'am.
You are missing there, it means.
Why don't you try somewhere? I mean, as a singer, ma'am. क्या गाया आपने और क्या चीज गाई है? मतलब तबीयत खुश हो गई.
Sir, I won't be able to sleep tonight. I mean,
Because of joy, ma'am. Savita, ma'am, you are also inspiration for the others, and I know you have decided what to sing.
No, I have already spoken a couplet. That was a song only.
No, ma'am, that was out of syllabus. That was not in that periodic test.
Out of syllabus, they're good.
That was out of syllabus, ma'am. You had talked.
मुझे सच में गाना, मैं ऐसा कहती नहीं हूँ कि मुझे ये नहीं आता, बट मुझे गाना नहीं आता.
मैम किसको आता है? किसी को नहीं यहाँ पे आता. मैम
इतने अच्छे सिंगर्स हैं यहाँ.
मुझे भी नहीं आता था. वो तो
गुजराती में सुनाएंगे.
Thanks to my wife,
Jaswinder sir is Jaswinder sir is a Sardi and he has married with a Gujarati woman and वो गुजराती में गाना सुनाएंगे पंजाबी की जगह अभी. लेकिन पहले आपकी बारी. It's your turn, ma'am. Savita ma'am, 2 lines.
मैम जल्दी सुना दीजिए। आई एम गेटिंग लेट।
सर को जाना है मैम के साथ।
ओके ओके ओके, जैसा भी है, एक प्रेयर है, बस एक लाइन। इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता, मन का विश्वास कमजोर होना, हम चले नेक रास्ते पे हमसे भूल कर भी कोई भूल होना, इतनी शक्ति हमें देना दाता। Thank you for listening. It's a prayer.
Great, ma'am, great. Monica, ma'am, we'll expect a original song from you. Shija, ma'am, you have to come back after this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm very
Yes,
well
yes.
available
And
here,
someone
enjoying
English,
all
sir,
the
one
songs.
prayer song.
Yeah, please come
School
into the
prayer
picture, please.
song.
Please come into the
Sir,
picture.
I'll sing a prayer song which I learnt in my school days. English, please. Every tiny star that twinkles in the night sky, every drop of morning dew, every spark of fire blazing in the furnace, every captivating view, every rainbow in the sky, every pretty butterfly tells the fascinating news to those who dare to hope. And the message is God still loves the world. God still loves the world. So throw your life into His hands. Day by day, His Son, His plans. God is passionately busy loving you and me. God is passionately busy loving you and me. Thank you.
I think I'll have to start the next season with Indian Idol. Only the principals will be the participants, no other will be allowed. And we have so much singers over here, and everybody is saying I'm not a singer. This is what's happening with me in every episode. तो एक बारी करना पड़ेगा ये अप्रोच के सिर्फ प्रिंसिपल्स का इंडियन आइडल चालू होना चाहिए सीजन में. Okay, coming up to Shija ma'am, then Jaswinder sir, please get ready.
Yes, sir. I
If
will
original,
just.
it will be very good if you sing something original.
Yeah,
Or-
I will speak in Malayalam. I don't know how many of you understand Malayalam. I will just tell a poem in Malayalam that is something like this. Akhilanda mandala manichorukki adilullilananda deepam kolutti പരമാണു പൊരുളിലും സ്ഫുരണമായി മിന്നും പരമപ്രകാശമേ ശരണം നീ നിത്യം. And there is a famous poet called Kunyunni Mashe, whom I admire a lot, and he said, വായിച്ചാലും വളരും വായിച്ചില്ലെങ്കിലും വളരും വായിച്ചാൽ വിളയും വായിച്ചില്ലെങ്കിൽ വളയും, which means that if you read or not you will grow, but if you read you will ripe and grow, but if you don't read you will bend and grow. That's it. Thank you, sir.
True.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. We were not understanding your words, we were understanding your emotions, ma'am. Otherwise also. Great.
Chandok sir,
Thank
thank
you,
you so
thank
much
you.
for
Thank you, sir.
giving
Sir,
such an
welcome,
opportunity.
sir. Jaswinder
I'm
sir
so
is only
sorry I'm
left, sir.
leaving in now.
Pramod sir, only Jaswinder Singh is left. Sadar singing in Gujarati. This will be the first time you'll be listening, sir.
Oh, okay.
You see, it is not that when I speak to people in Gujarati and then I go and meet them, बोले कि आपसे तो बात ही नहीं हुई थी. Because so then I have to speak to them in Gujarati. So I have prepared 2 lines because I know Chandok sir na pakad lete hain. So this is a song which was sung by Manhar Udas. Pankaj Udas ke brother, because they are Gujaratis. So there's it goes this way, you know. इसका भी हिंदी वर्जन भी आ गया है. It says, नयन ने बंद राखी ने मैं तमने જ્યારે જોયા છે. નયન ને બંધ રાખીને મેં તમને જ્યારે જોયા છે. તમે છો એના કરતા બી વધારે તમને જોયા છે. What it says is कि आंखें बंद करके मैंने जो अब आपको देखा ना, आप जो उससे ज्यादा डेप्थ में मैंने देख लिया. So that's what we do is that, you know, even when it is God or the one who we love, आंख बंद कर देखो, you know the true person that way. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jaswinder sir. It was a wonderful evening. Thank you so much. And thank you, Jaswinder sir, Ritu ma'am, Savita ma'am, Pramod sir, Monica ma'am, Shija ma'am, for sparing your so valuable time and even to us. I hope you all enjoyed and hope to see you in another session.
सर आपकी 2 लाइनें.
मैम मेरी 2 लाइनें तो अभी नहीं है. मेरी 2 लाइनें तो रोज हो जाती है मैम.
गा के सुनाइए.
आज आपने पकड़ लिया.
और क्या, हम प्रिंसिपल्स हैं, छोड़ नहीं सकते.
जल्दी सुनाइए.
I am like a सेवक मैम. सारे प्रिंसिपल्स हैं, इनके सामने मेरी क्या हिम्मत लगाने की मैम.
नो.
नहीं, अब
आप भी तो
गाना
प्रिंसिपल
है,
हो,
ऐसे
आप
नहीं
भी तो
गाना.
प्रिंसिपल हो.
Yes sir. Now I have caught up today sir. ऐसा कैसे हो गया? मैं कैसे पकड़ा जा सकता हूँ?
आपने मुझे पकड़ लिया था, इसीलिए मैंने भी पकड़ लिया.
You are a
मैंने
good
भी
leader,
सोचा आज
ma'am.
तक किसी के नहीं
प्रमोद
गाना
सर को
कर पाया.
जाना है, आप जल्दी कर
जी.
दीजिए सर.
जी.
प्रमोद
जल्दी
सर को
करिए,
जाना है.
जल्दी.
चलते चलते मेरे ये गीत याद रखना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना, कभी अलविदा ना कहना.
आप मुझसे लास्ट में कहते तो मैं यही वाला गाता.
Thank you sir. Thank you ma'am.
Thank you everyone.
Ritu ma'am.
Thank you.
Savita ma'am.
Thank you
to all the
Bye. Take care.
panelists.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
प्रमोद